Righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm here on PTS, and we already talked about the changes for Kasumi, but I wanted to see them and show you how they look like. However, this is not going to be gameplay for a very simple reason. The only available servers on PTS are NA, and unfortunately, they are even more laggy than usual for some reason. So I would just be showing you the worst possible experience with nothing but rubber banding. And I prefer to just talk about what changed, show you, and, you know, just give my opinion about it, whether I would do what they did or do something else, and what I think about the current changes. As for other champions like IO and so on, again, I'm probably going to be testing most of these on live servers. It shouldn't take long. I mean, how much we got? Well, I got like 2-3 weeks, I think, until the new patch. So, you know, in the meantime, I'll just be posting some other stuff. So let's get into Kasumi. If you didn't know, she did got rework, okay? The first thing that you are able to see as soon as you pick her is that Untainted Ground is essentially reworked as well, because they took some of its effect and made it base kit. And, you know, unfortunately, text is so big that it won't fit. They didn't check that, unfortunately. A couple of other cards that changed, like, for example, Unseen Eyes. Now this actually heals you more per stack, and I'll show you why. But just for an easier to digest information, when you use your right mouse button now, depending on how many stacks somebody has, you now actually heal per 80 HP per stack. And if they have 5 stacks, you gain another 300 on top. So it's in total like 700, and then you can just boost it up here with Unseen Eyes, 10 per point, which essentially is almost like Vora's card that increases the HP per stack as well. They didn't just change that; they also changed a card that would essentially put 3 stacks on somebody if you use the right mouse button on them. And it would have like a 30-second cooldown similar to this one. They essentially reworked that, and now it actually grants up to 5 stacks, depending on how many points you put in it, to somebody who's near the place where you kill somebody else with the right mouse button. So if you kill somebody with the right mouse button, a random guy, like up to 30 units, will gain 3 stacks. In fact, I will be able to show you that here on Shooting Range, so that should be pretty good. Now, forget about the loadout you just saw. Let's first talk about what changed. So the first thing you're going to be able to see that is that if I hold here my mouse button, my primary fire, and miss, there is a new animation. You guys already seen that for the last 2 patches or so, and it made Kasumi just really, really worse. They cut the duration of it in half. So it's a lot faster. If you miss, you can go back into the fight a lot faster. But shooting is now slower as well.
Does it hurt? A good start.
You don't really feel it, but it is there. It's like 2 split seconds or something like that. It's very minimal, but it's there. Another thing they did is they increased the base damage for without stacks to 300. And now that means that stacks subsequently also do more, because if you remember correctly, the stacks increase based on percentage. So if you do 300 damage now, you know, it stole stacks from there from another person. But essentially, you can get up to 540 damage with 5 stacks on people. Actually, 600 right there. Wait, is it multiplying it? Why did it? We need to go to Victor right now. I think we might have just found a bug. I think it's essentially putting more stacks on top of people. It just went all the way to 600.
Oh, silly me. I almost forgot to buy more.
But it was already a 5 stack, so I'm just gonna do this to get. I'm just gonna do this here first for some stacks. Okay, 5 stacks. So no, max damage is actually 600. Okay, fair enough. So you can go all the way to 600 damage. I guess I'm confused because we gained 5 stacks and I did 540 damage, so that's completely normal. It does seem like they increased the cone size in my opinion, but I might be wrong. When it comes to primary fire, those are mainly the changes. Now let's take a look into the right mouse button. If you remember correctly, the right mouse button on somebody who had 5 stacks would essentially disarm them. This is no longer the case, as you can see. They just don't get any effect whatsoever, because now instead, this will be to heal yourself. Now, pay attention to the lower section there next to my HP bar. You'll see a symbol which shows that Kasumi is healing herself, as you can see. And we can actually go as far as... yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put 5 points in here, and then we're just gonna swap loadout. Do that. I can't really mount... oh, there you can. Let me see if the bug of the stacks is still possible. Oh, but I have to use this. I can't apply stacks anymore. I bugged it. Yeah, I can't apply stacks anymore, but now I have this speed. Let's get more nimble.
Yes! This will further my goal.
Well, I'm super fast now. Essentially, it's a bug where because you're changing... not changing, because you're making the Cassies disappear. It essentially can, in the game's mind or the game's code, it says those 5 stacks exist. So when you put them back, it clears it. So now it allows you to put another 5, but it doesn't go and steal from the previous 5. So yeah. But back to what I was saying. So what I want to do is essentially have some damage. Put 5 stacks on this Cassie here. Oh, and now I just right click. Okay, no, she's completely bugged. I'm gonna have to return to the lobby. Hold up, be happy. I bugged Kasumi so hard I can't even test her. Oh lord.
The strength of the team is each member.
Okay.
But the game is still up for grabs.
Okay, we're back. So now I'm going maybe go to like to Fernando, I guess, since he has so much HP. I'm doing this to not go out of combat. So we'll just apply some stacks over here. And we got healed for 950 HP. That's actually pretty good. I mean, Cauterize is a thing, but essentially she now has sort of a little bit of Vortis treatment with some self-sustain. That's okay, I guess. But it no longer has any disarm. Instead, the disarm went to the ultimate. So if anybody gets affected by the ultimate, they will be disarmed. It's still the same thing, damage. People also get affected by it and also take damage around the main target. It is easy to use because it's just like a look and click sort of ability, but the disarm is not there instead of actually the right mouse button. Right mouse button also has a new functionality, which is it applies 3 stacks to whoever you shoot at. So, you know, in case you want to start off like that, you can. You know, it's one way to do it. And the thing is, it is pretty much every single time. So it's not... This is better than the previous card. They made it base hit, but it doesn't have an internal cooldown. You can just use it. Now, they did nerf, however, the card that reduced the cooldown of the right mouse button. So people wouldn't abuse that. But you can still potentially get it down to quite low.
This will further my goal.
So... That's a 4-second cooldown. You're here, and before you kill this person, you're already like this.
Killing spree. Double kill. 1, 2, 3, 4, and triple.
It's what I'm saying. I think that they potentially...
Oh, silly me.
They have potentially made the cone a bit bigger. I don't think they said anything about it, but I think they did it because it feels way easier to actually hit shots on people now. So as you can see here, I would normally miss like that. And now you see where I'm aiming at, right? And just seeing the brackets essentially means you're going to hit. So I do think that they did reverse some part of that. But they didn't mention it. So as for the dolls now essentially no longer fear, they instead slow.
You can't escape.
You trigger them and boom. Now what I don't understand is why they give 5 stacks, because if I remember correctly,
Unstoppable.
I think that they said that it would be like 2 stacks. Oh, but I'm using talent. The stacks of curse it applies by 2. No. Confused. What if I use like this?
My love will
Oh yeah, you can place them at long range now. 3. So it increases it. The stacks of curse it applies by... Increase the stacks of curse it applies by 2. Okay, so it does make sense. Okay. So now you can actually do this. It's not triggering. Too far away. And look at that. 3 people with 5 stacks.
Your souls are mine.
I still think that the first talent, this one here, might still be pretty good.
I'll kill everyone.
Because let me just see how much old charge we get back. I got 50% back from only that.
Double kill. Immortal. Triple kill. Quadra kill.
So as you can see, let me just wait for that Victor to lose immortality. What the?
Double
Learned
kill.
your lesson.
Annihilation.
How did I get my ult instantly? That did all that damage?
Your souls are mine.
Double kill.
That was a bit of a bug, right?
Triple kill.
Because it instantly gave me back my ultimate. I wasn't near the point, so something must have acted up. But it doesn't matter. Okay. When it comes to her trap dolls, now you can place them at long ranges. You can see they no longer fear. They instead slow. They apply 3 stacks on people if they trigger them and you teleport to them and they get affected by it. But here's the thing. Oh, okay. They always explode automatically now. Because I think I'm using... Yeah. They'll always explode automatically now and just essentially slow people down and do the 3 stacks. The second talent is what makes it not do that, and you only teleport... And you can teleport them to them. Like I said, the talent was reworked. You can teleport to them only if you want to. You can still abuse sort of the card that gives you speed when the talls get triggered. By just leaving dolls all around and they get triggered and people can just trigger the effect of the card and you get more speed. But here's the thing. The dolls now can be destroyed. In fact, I want to see that. I don't think Cassie can actually get it, but let's try.
My love won't be denied.
No, it's too low. Unfortunate. Also, Kasumi now can shoot the Drox totems. That's good or bad. I don't know. One of both. But yeah, now you can place the dolls. They apply 3 marks. They explode instantly, and you can just essentially put them at long range, as you can see there. And if you go with the second talent, you actually put 2 more stacks, but now they only get triggered if you want to, and you can teleport to them only if they get triggered and so on. But the dolls can now be destroyed. They have 300 HP. Remember that they can be seen by Illuminate. Now let's talk about our movement ability. Our movement ability now allows you to essentially, let me just go here and do a little loadout here so that we can talk about it easier. Reduce the cooldown, and we can even go for the duration. There. Now we go with the third talent, and we go with this. And I have Chronos and Morale, and we can even go with Speed. But what I really want to show you is that now you can just use this, and instead of going back to the body, you end it sooner. So almost there, the bar was almost over, but I was the one who triggered it. So now I can just do this and be off the corner, and I just teleport the body to me. Okay, so third talent might actually be pretty powerful now, considering the fact that you can use it to, like, you're right here, the sniper's going to shoot you, you can just do this, and once you're here, any damage the body took, you're just going to get it uncauterizable. And you can even stack it up with some other stuff, like, for example, speed after the movement ability. In fact, I'm imagining that you could potentially do something like increase the speed and then just, let's swap here. And you can just do this to get the speed bonus and get out of there. That's actually pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie. That's some pretty nasty stuff we can actually pull off now with the cards and abilities. So that's essentially everything that got changed. Like I said, the ultimate now has disarm on it. Anyone affected by the ultimate will be disarmed for like 1.5 seconds. Main fire, as you see, more damage, but less range, by the way. Now the new range of her weapon is this. 100 units. Okay. But it's fully effective up to those 100 units. Okay. Just like the right click. The right click is the same thing. The dolls, I believe it is, if I'm putting myself here, at 50 units, it's around 100 units as well, as you can see. Almost, same thing. Dolls can be destroyed, they can be seen by Eliminator already, that was already the standard. And they no longer, in order to teleport to them, you have to use a second talent. So the first talent would be more to old charge. The second talent would be if you want to teleport around and flank more harder. Because, by the way, in case you didn't know, she now has a flank. And then finally, the third talent is in case you want to survive harder. Because, you know, maybe you're going to get a lot of damage and you can just avoid all that cauterizing damage with it. Now, let's test out one final thing before I give my true final judgment of this. And for that, I need to change a loadout here. We're going to swap this out, and I'm going to go here with this one. I'm going to edit it, and here, I'm going to switch this card to the one that when an enemy dies to Savage Tear, a random enemy within 30 units has 5 stacks placed on them. So let's go like this. And now I'm gonna kill her with a right mouse button, and this one gets 5 stacks.
Double kill.
But this only happens how many times? Every 10 seconds. And you can get it up to 5 stacks, so it's not 3 stacks, and then you can put it down to 5 seconds on internal cooldown or something. Let's talk about it. Let's get out of here because this is all... I bugged all the characters and such. What do I think of this? I think it's actually a good thing. All right, this is the best sort of rework they could have done without having to physically change anything. They said that they updated the animation for placing the dolls because the dolls are now way more responsive. So essentially, if you're trying to place the dolls, as soon as you look at a location, you see that little light pillar that I showed you, and you let go, that's where the doll is going to be. It's going to be way more responsive, way faster, and that's where the doll is just going to appear straight away. It does not matter the animation, okay? You can just essentially send over dolls over to point on purpose to slow people down. And while you're going around, you can even have the card that increases speed in case the dolls get triggered, and you just, you know, keep tossing dolls into the point. Now, people might be able to destroy them straight away, so you might not even get any value out of it, but hey, at least the dolls can now be destroyed instead of actually forcing them to trigger, and sometimes even baiting you, okay? Because that was sort of an issue there. Like, now they will always do an effect. It's just not a fear. It's a slow. The main weapon changes. I feel like it definitely did change what I said. They changed the entire cone of it because it feels way easier to hit shots. But we'll see how people are going to react to that, if that is true, if I'm not the only one who feels that. I love the entire half of the duration of the fail animation. Way better. Like, I'm actually going to feel like I'm playing something that can miss, but it's not overly punishing to you. Her movement ability finally works exactly like I suggested on the first day. As soon as they said about the character, this is the first thing I said. Can it just, like, the body be teleport to you instead of you back to the body? Because it seems like it's super punishing. And I still think the 75% damage reduction, this might be nerfed in the future. Just letting you know. The ultimate now disarming, I feel like that's actually okay. It feels way more punishing now as an ultimate. Where it is not just all about damage, because some stuff will block you know, the damage. Like, people can use certain abilities. Heals can just avoid you from dying. So now being disarmed actually makes it a very punishing thing in a 1v1. Like, you're fighting somebody and you're ulting them, they get disarmed for 1.5 seconds right there. Are disarmed for 1.5 seconds, plus they win the 5 stacks, plus they take all that damage. And in anybody around it is just going to be, you know, going to take that extra damage and the stacks themselves as well, and be disarmed as well. So it's way more punishing, way more as an ultimate now. Movement ability is way better. The spirit traps finally make sense that you can just place them at long range. Although, you know, it was still pretty cool. You're walking around dropping a doll, and that's a place where you're dropping like a little trap. I feel like this should be more as a trap, rather than a sort of a deployable. It's hard to explain, but it feels way better now. I actually prefer it as it is now instead of what it was before. Okay, don't get me wrong, way better. As for the right mouse button, I'm not sure. I mean, it does give her self-sustain, which is fantastic. Way more consistent on self-sustain. In fact, you can try to get out of cauterize and then just show up and use the right click. Get that little extra healing. You know, maybe you did place a doll. You're playing with the second talent and somebody got triggered by the doll. 5 stacks, you just appear out of the corner. Boom, right mouse button. Instantly 700 HP back to you. Because this is the good thing. Compared to Vora heals over time. She gets instantly healed based on how many stacks you got. And if you have the 5 stacks, she has 300 extra. Since I'm also talking about this, they also did this now for the abilities of characters. Now, if they have a passive, it will be shown up here, down here actually, as a passive. Your abilities can apply up to 5 stacks of curse. For each stack, the target deals 2% less outgoing damage. So remember, you are already nerfing them up to 10%, and they take 20% increased damage. So once they buff the main damage of the weapon, they also buffed this by accident. Cursed enemies are granted a reveal on you. So you got to remember that, you know, people can still see you through walls. Now, I would suggest something to the developers. Allow us to know like if we have stacks out and who potentially has them. Like, I don't know, you know how Corvus has that little symbol with the frames of people on the little diamond or whatever when they have marks on top of the ability? Something similar to that, so that I can tell that I still have a stack on somebody without seeing them. So that I know that they can still see me, because I'm gonna be honest, they got a huge advantage against us about knowing exactly where I am. If by in any unlucky event, I just use my ultimate and let's say Anessa gets hit by it, she instantly knows where I am for the entire duration of the stacks. And the card that increases the duration of the stacks is actually a nerf to you. So that Ness is just going to be pre-firing you right after that corner as soon as you show up and where you peek for the first time. It's not going to be cool, right? So allow me to at least know who potentially has stacks, okay? And how many, so that I know, okay, Fernando has 3 stacks. Maybe I'll go for Fernando. Oh, the Tyrant has like 5 stacks because I use the card that grants stacks to somebody if I use my right mouse button to kill somebody and they're around 30 units. This way I'll know this is the person with 5 stacks. This is the person I'm gonna go after. Okay, and then I go immediately after the Tyra. And essentially, just, all right, I know I have 5 stacks, and I'm going to right mouse button the Tyra. So that's the only thing I would essentially do for now, because I still want to see her performance, and I want to see how people are going to enjoy her from now on. Kasumi was really low on both picking and winning rates. It was really terrible. Really, really terrible. And that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna talk much more. I want to know what you guys think. Go down in the comments below. Go to PTS, test it out for yourselves. When it goes to live servers, I'll be testing it out myself. We'll see if there's gonna be any more changes on PTS. But one thing is certain, I'm gonna be honest, her weapon feels way better right now, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna enjoy playing her. So watch out. You might find her a little bit more maybe in casuals and even competitive. All right, so that's pretty much it. Comment down in the comments below what do you think. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.